I woke up from a dead sleep with this exact idea in mind. Welcome back to Self-Built. Today is something special. I am sharing with you something that woke me up in the middle of the night. That was pure inspiration on something I know you guys have never seen. I'm calling these cable anchors, and they are just ridiculous on making your cables that much more adjustable and universal. Let me show you what I'm talking about. There's only two things that you need. First, you need cables, and then secondly, you need a tie-down strap, a TRX strap, something that you can easily adjust quickly. I'm just going to try to explain this in the most simple terms. Basically what this will do is you'll attach this to the cable that you're going to be using and part of the frame of your squat rack. What that's going to do is make an anchoring point, and we'll say this is the anchor. It'll force the cable to move in a predetermined track. You can shorten or lengthen your anchor, which will make the arc be less or more aggressive. And the feeling that it gives you is it's almost like a machine where it makes it so you have to stabilize even less. You can focus on just the muscle that you're working out. It opens up a lot more possibility of exercises you can do, angles you can hit. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface on this. I've played with a few exercises and it works surprisingly well. It's really awesome. I'll show you a couple. You can use the anchor to have it anchored to the top portion, the bottom portion, or if you have a bar, you can adjust it somewhere in the bar. So you have a lot of different ranges that you can add anchors to. Not only does it give you an anchor and a predetermined swing, if you only have a top and a bottom cable, depending on how you adjust this, you can have your handle start in any position that you want, which is way cool. I have 3 cables if I really want to hook it all up, but this replaces and makes that pretty much obsolete. I'll still use it, of course, because I still like it. But doing this type of setup on your cables is crazy. Let me do an example on this side. Here's my normal cable. You can have this attach right to where it starts, or if you make this longer, that is how you make your starting point wherever you want. So you just attach something longer to here or on the bottom, and then you've got your anchor. I'll just have this down here, and I like having it some sort of adjustable strap just because it's so much quicker. And then you'll attach it right here. And what that does is it forces it to follow this track. You can't go any higher than this allows. This angle helps show you a lot more. So I'm just pulling on here, and you can see it's forcing me to go in that range of motion. So it would be really good if, just say for example, you're doing like a standing decline, or if you want to do a row machine where you don't have to focus on moving your arm, it moves it for you. It really opens up a lot of possibility. And of course, you can add any sort of cable attachments that you want. If I'm wanting a row that starts right in the middle, not at the top or the bottom, this will solve that issue, and it also gives you a fixed point of range of motion. The only instance where this doesn't become helpful is if you pull sharper, then the curve will go. So you just have to keep that in mind. But if I'm sitting down, standing up, it's going to be going the same way regardless. It almost turns your cables into whatever gym machine that you can think of. It is really cool. This one's demonstrating if it's pulling from the bottom and you have it anchored at the top. So if I'm pulling just straight, it's going to force it to go in an upward motion. There's nothing I can do about it. Even if I'm going to be pulling down here, it makes it so it has to go that certain direction. You can, of course, go straight up. And I would recommend doing that. Pull up just like this, see how it feels, and then pull out. It's totally different. It's crazy. It's something so simple that can make your workout feel so much different, and it opens up a lot of different versatility. I woke up from a dead sleep with this exact idea in mind, so it just completely came as inspiration. Here's a fly demonstration of doing it. And I know it's hard to feel the difference through a camera, so this is something you just need to try. But I can be pushing forward, and having those anchors forces me to move down slightly. It also increases a lot more stability, which is very surprising. But all you have to do is just focus on the squeezing of the muscle. Here's a great example of how these can get you started in the exact position that you want, and it also puts you on a fixed track. I'm gonna be doing just a fly that just goes right across the body, one-armed. You've probably seen a lot of people do this. It's excellent for just torching that inner chest. The problem you'll run into if you don't have a super adjustable cable system is either you're starting too high or too low. If you make the meeting point of your band and your chain be right where you want to start, that way you can attach a handle, you don't have that issue. You can start exactly where you want to be, and then you decide, do you want it to arc down or do you want it to arc up, is whether you have it attached to the bottom or the top. And then all you do is just focus on squeezing your chest. And usually if I'm doing this, I'm feeling it in my shoulder. I mean, of course you feel it in your chest a lot. I mean, that's what you're focusing on, right? But you feel it also in your shoulder because you're trying to guide where you want to go. You're trying to stabilize. But when you have it set up like this, it's so much easier, way less stability. You can focus just on what you're going for. It almost turns exercises into a machine feel because you're on a fixed range of motion and you don't have to stabilize a whole bunch, and you just focus your muscle just getting crazy lit up. That's a good example of the specialty that this can do. Depending on how far away your pull point is from the cable, it does change the strength curve. And what I'm talking about is kind of imagine like the Bowflex. And what I'm saying is you won't have 100% resistance at the same time. It's progressive. And my guess of what's happening is it takes a minute for this to get in the right track. So until it gets into that track, this isn't moving as quick as it normally is when you're at the full part. So with that, it just doesn't have as much resistance as normal. That might be complete BS, but what I can tell you is it starts easier and then it gradually gets harder towards the top, but that does vary on how you set it up. That could be beneficial if you've got really sensitive joints because it slowly applies the pressure, kind of like if you're doing like banded training. I'm not saying it's as much as that, I'm just saying in some exercises you can kind of tell, you're like, okay, that was easier, now it's starting to get harder. Let's say you want to do some rows, you want to start a little bit higher but have it end at a lower point. I'm using the same setup as the previous demo. That strength curve I was telling you about, you can definitely feel it when you're doing back. So from here, that's where I start to feel the resistance coming on. If you can scoot back to where the curve is starting to get good, you can probably even it out to be pretty dang consistent. But just know that you might have to make a little bit of adjustments. But again, there's like no stability involved with this. It's crazy because if I was going to do this before, I'd be feeling it more in my shoulders and a lot of other muscles, but this just helps you focus on that sole muscle you're trying to target. It's crazy. It unlocks a lot of exercises you would never think you can do with a cable exercise. I've been doing some shoulder presses. I just got a really good idea today actually of doing some pendulum squats with it to see if that's possible. So ideas are just flowing in. I'm gonna be sharing them with you guys, but this video is mainly just to kind of give you the idea of this, and hopefully you can run and grab some of these straps on your own. I'll leave a link of the video of me building these in the description, just so you have a reference of what to look for. I am super excited to explore all of the possibilities with this, because this can cover and almost do everything that my other lever gym setups that I've done, except it's something that's much more compact. It's pretty dang simple. There's like no assembly required. It gives you so much versatility. That could almost be a bad thing because you're just limited by your imagination. So if you're lacking creativity, just refer to the videos that I'm gonna make for you. Because this turns your typical cables basically into a machine, because that's how machines work, is they're on a tracked motion, they're using levers, and typically it's cables or bands that are using the resistance. So pretty crazy stuff. I hope I was able to convey that clearly and simply enough for you guys to understand. It probably doesn't look as cool as it feels. I'll be showing you some really cool workouts in the future. And that is the end of this video. If you're not excited yet, just you wait until I start doing some workouts with this. I never would have thought of this by myself. I was definitely given a gift and I'm sharing it with you guys today. If you have any questions, ideas, or anything at all on that, definitely let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and you do not want to miss any of these upcoming workouts on sale. Boo!